You are about to discover one of the most powerful ideas that can completely change the way you see yourself. For years, many people search for confidence outside of themselves. They try to look stronger, speak louder, or prove their value to others. But real confidence does not come from pretending to be someone else. It comes from building a strong relationship with yourself. In this video, we will explore the 6 foundations that create true self-esteem. The principles that can help you understand yourself, respect yourself, take responsibility for your life, and build the inner strength that nobody can take away from you. Welcome to this channel, where we explore the most powerful ideas from the world's greatest books and transform them into practical lessons that you can apply in your daily life. Today, we are diving into the ideas inspired by the book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Nathaniel Branden. But this is not just a simple summary of a book. This is a journey. Imagine a person named Adam. Adam was someone who looked normal from the outside. He went to work, talked with people, and continued his daily life. But inside, he always felt that he was not good enough. Every decision was followed by doubt. Every mistake felt like failure. Every opinion from others had the power to control his emotions. Adam wanted confidence, but he was searching for it in the wrong place. He thought confidence was something that some people were simply born with, until he discovered one important truth. Confidence is not a gift that only a few people have. Confidence is a skill that can be built. And just like building a strong body requires training, building a strong mind requires practice. Throughout this video, we will uncover the principles that separate people who trust themselves from people who are constantly controlled by fear and doubt. You will learn why self-awareness is the beginning of change, why accepting yourself is not weakness but strength, why taking responsibility creates personal power, why expressing yourself honestly builds respect, why having a clear purpose gives your life direction, and why living with integrity creates confidence that comes from within. So stay until the end, because the biggest transformation often begins with understanding one simple idea. The way you see yourself determines the way you experience the world. Let's begin this journey. Chapter 1. The first pillar of self-esteem. The practice of living consciously, calm tone, before we build confidence, before we try to become stronger, before we change the way others see us. There is one question we must answer. Do we truly see ourselves? Many people live their entire lives on automatic mode. They wake up, follow the same routine, react to situations, and make decisions without ever stopping to understand what is happening inside their own minds. They know what they do every day, but they do not know why they do it. They know what they want others to think about them, but they do not know what they truly think about themselves. And this is where the first foundation of real self-esteem begins: living consciously. Pause. Living consciously means choosing to be aware. Aware of your thoughts, aware of your emotions, aware of your actions, aware of the choices you make every single day. Because you cannot improve something you refuse to see. Imagine someone driving a car while closing their eyes. They may move forward for a short time. They may even believe everything is fine, but eventually they will lose control. Life works the same way. When you ignore your thoughts, your weaknesses, your strengths, and your decisions, you are moving through life without direction. And without awareness, confidence becomes impossible. Story. Let's return to Adam. For years, Adam believed that his biggest problem was that he was not confident enough. He thought he needed to become a different person. He looked at confident people and wondered, why can they speak without fear? Why can they make decisions easily? Why do I always doubt myself? But Adam made one mistake. He was trying to fix the result without understanding the cause. One day, he decided to observe himself, not judge himself, not criticize himself, just observe. He started noticing small things. He noticed that he avoided difficult conversations because he was afraid of rejection. He noticed that he compared himself to others every day. He noticed that he wasted hours on things that moved him away from his goals. For the first time, Adam was seeing the truth. And although the truth was uncomfortable, it gave him something powerful: control. Emphasis, because awareness is the beginning of power. When you become aware of your patterns, You can change them. When you understand your thoughts, you can choose better thoughts. When you recognize your actions, you can create better actions. Most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they are unaware of what is holding them back. They repeat the same mistakes because they never stop to ask, why am I doing this? Is this helping me or hurting me? Is this the person I want to become? Explanation: living consciously does not mean you need to analyze every second of your life. It means you stop escaping from yourself. You start paying attention. For example, someone who lives unconsciously may say, I am just an angry person. But someone who lives consciously asks, why do I become angry so quickly? What triggers this reaction? What can I do differently next time? The first person accepts the problem. The second person takes control of the problem. And that difference changes everything. Practical application. So how can you practice living consciously? The first step is simple. Pay attention to your inner world. Every day, take a few minutes and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What thoughts are controlling my decisions? What actions today move me closer to my goals? What actions moved me away from my goals? These questions create awareness, and awareness creates change. The second step, become honest with yourself. Not cruel, not negative, honest. There's a difference. A person with low self-esteem often avoids the truth because they think accepting their weaknesses means they are worthless. But a confident person understands something different. Seeing your weaknesses does not make you weaker. It gives you the opportunity to become stronger. Pause. Think about a person who wants to become physically stronger. They cannot improve their body if they refuse to see their current condition. They must understand where they are before they know where they need to go. The same applies to your mind. You need awareness before transformation. Conclusion. The first pillar of self-esteem is the foundation for everything that comes after it. Without awareness, you live according to habits, fears, and outside influences. With awareness, you begin to take control of your life. Remember Adam. His life did not change because he suddenly became fearless. It changed because he finally started paying attention. He stopped running away from himself. And that was the beginning of his confidence. Slow tone. The first step to becoming confident is not pretending that you are already strong. The first step is having the courage to truly see yourself. Because the person who understands himself can begin to change himself. And the person who can change himself can build a life with real confidence. Chapter 2. The second pillar of self-esteem. The practice of self-acceptance, calm tone. After learning to see yourself clearly, the next challenge begins. Can you accept yourself? Many people believe confidence comes from becoming perfect. They think, once I become successful, I will respect myself. Once I look better, I will feel valuable. Once everyone accepts me, I will finally accept myself. But this way of thinking creates a never-ending struggle. Because if your value depends only on achievements, opinions, or perfection, you will always feel like you're trying to prove that you are enough. The second pillar of self-esteem teaches a powerful truth. You cannot build a strong relationship with yourself while constantly fighting against yourself. Pause. Self-acceptance does not mean you believe everything you do is correct. It does not mean you stop improving. It does not mean you ignore your mistakes. Self-acceptance means you recognize yourself as a human being who has strengths, weaknesses, successes, and failures. It means you stop treating yourself like an enemy. Story. Let's return to Adam. After learning to become more aware of his thoughts, Adam discovered something uncomfortable. He was his own biggest critic. Whenever he made a mistake, he attacked himself. Whenever someone criticized him, he repeated those words in his mind. Whenever he failed, he did not say, I made a mistake. He said, I am a mistake. And this small difference changed the way he saw himself. Adam realized he was not only dealing with problems in life, he was also carrying a constant battle inside his own mind. He expected support from others, but he was not giving that support to himself. Emphasis. Many people spend years searching for acceptance from the world while rejecting themselves every day. They want others to respect them, but they do not respect their own feelings. They want others to believe in them, but they do not believe in themselves. They want others to forgive their mistakes, but they refuse to forgive themselves. This creates a painful contradiction. You cannot build confidence on a foundation of self-rejection. Explanation: self-acceptance begins when you separate your identity from your mistakes. You are not your failure. You are not your past. You are not every negative thought you have experienced. You are a person who is learning, growing, and changing. Imagine a child learning to walk. When the child falls, nobody says, "You failed. You are useless." Everyone understands that falling is part of learning. But many adults forget to give themselves the same patience. They expect themselves to be perfect while they are still learning. Practical application: how can you practice self-acceptance? The first step: stop using destructive language with yourself. Pay attention to the way you speak inside your mind. Would you talk to a close friend the same way you talk to yourself? If the answer is no, then you need to change that voice. Replace "I always fail" with "I made a mistake, but I can learn from it." Replace "I am not good enough" with "I am improving and I can become better." The second step: accept your current reality. Many people waste energy fighting against the fact that they are not where they want to be yet. They become angry because progress is not instant. But growth requires patience. A tree does not become tall in one day. A strong person is not created in one moment. Every small improvement matters. Pause. Self-acceptance gives you a stable foundation. Because when you accept yourself, you no longer need to pretend. You no longer need to create a fake image just to impress people. You can be honest. You can learn. You can grow. And that is where real confidence begins. Story conclusion: Adam slowly started changing. Not because his problems disappeared. Not because everyone suddenly approved of him. But because he stopped believing that he needed to become someone else to deserve respect. He started respecting himself while still working on improving himself. And that balance changed everything. Slow tone. Remember this: self-acceptance is not the end of growth. It is the beginning of growth. Because when you stop wasting your energy fighting yourself, you finally have the strength to build yourself. The person who accepts himself can improve himself. The person who rejects himself will always be fighting an impossible battle. And confidence begins when you decide to stand with yourself, not against yourself. Chapter 3: The third pillar of self-esteem. The practice of self-responsibility. Calm tone. There's a moment in every person's life when they must make an important decision. Will I take control of my life, or will I continue waiting for something outside of me to change? This question separates people who build confidence from people who remain trapped. Because real self-esteem is not created by wishing for a better life. It is created by taking responsibility for creating that life. Pause. The third pillar of self-esteem is the practice of self-responsibility. This means understanding that your life is influenced by your choices, your thoughts, your actions, your decisions. It does not mean that you control everything that happens to you. Life will always have unexpected events. You cannot control every problem. You cannot control every person's opinion. You cannot control every situation. But you can control your response. And that is where your power begins. Story. Let's return to Adam. For many years, Adam believed his problems were caused by everything around him. He blamed his lack of confidence on his past. He blamed his failures on other people. He blamed his situation for stopping him from moving forward. And for a while, this made him feel better, because blaming others removes responsibility. But there was a hidden cost. Every time Adam blamed something outside himself, he gave away his power. He was saying, "My future depends on things I cannot control." And when you believe that, you become a prisoner of circumstances. Emphasis: the moment you take responsibility, you take your power back. A person with strong self-esteem does not ask, "Who is responsible for my problems?" They ask, "What can I do about this situation?" This question creates action, and action creates confidence. Explanation: many people misunderstand responsibility. They think responsibility means blaming yourself for everything. That is not true. Self-responsibility is not about saying, "Everything bad that happens is my fault." It is about saying, "Whatever happens, I have the ability to choose my next step. For example, imagine two people lose the same opportunity. The first person says, "Life is unfair. Nothing works for me." The second person says, "This hurts, but what can I learn? What can I improve? What can I try next?" The situation is the same, but their response is completely different. And over time, their lives will become completely different. Practical application. How can you practice self-responsibility? The first step, take ownership of your choices. Look at your daily habits. Are they helping your future or damaging it? Your results are connected to your repeated actions. Small decisions create big outcomes. The second step, stop waiting for motivation. Many people say, "I will start when I feel ready." But confident people understand something important. Action often creates motivation. You do not always need to feel confident before you begin. Sometimes confidence comes after you take action. The third step, focus on what you can control. You cannot control the past. You cannot control other people's thoughts. You cannot control every challenge. But you can control your effort, your attitude, your discipline, your choices. Pause. Think about a person standing in front of a locked door. One person spends all day complaining about the door. Another person searches for a key. The second person understands that complaining does not open doors. Action does. Story conclusion, Adam slowly changed the way he looked at his life. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he started asking, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of waiting for someone to save him, he started building himself. He understood that nobody was coming to create his future for him. His future was built by the decisions he made every day. And this realization gave him a new kind of confidence. Not fake confidence. Not confidence based on appearance. Real confidence. The confidence that comes from knowing, "I can handle what comes next." Slow tone. Your life changes when you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of your choices. Self-responsibility is not a burden. It is freedom. Because when you accept your power, you stop waiting for life to change. You start changing your life. And that is the third foundation of true self-esteem. Chapter 4. The fourth pillar of self-esteem. The practice of self-assertiveness, calm tone. There's a difference between being accepted by everyone and being respected by yourself. Many people spend their lives trying to avoid disappointing others. They hide their opinions. They ignore their own needs. They say yes when they want to say no. They become a version of themselves that they think others will accept. But slowly, something happens. They lose connection with their own voice. And when a person loses their own voice, their confidence becomes weaker. Pause. The fourth pillar of self-esteem is the practice of self-assertiveness. Self-assertiveness means respecting your own values, thoughts, feelings, and needs. It means having the courage to express who you are without pretending. It does not mean becoming aggressive. It does not mean forcing your opinions on others. It means being honest with yourself and communicating that honesty with respect. Story. Let's return to Adam. For years, Adam avoided conflict. Whenever someone asked for something, he immediately agreed. Whenever someone had a different opinion, he stayed silent. Whenever he wanted to express an idea, he stopped himself because he was afraid of judgment. From the outside, people thought Adam was calm and easy to deal with. But inside, he felt frustrated because every time he ignored his own thoughts, he sent himself a message: "My opinion does not matter." And slowly, that message damaged his confidence. Emphasis. The way you treat yourself teaches your mind how valuable you are. If you constantly ignore your own needs, your mind begins to believe they are not important. But when you respect your thoughts and express yourself honestly, you build trust with yourself. And self-trust is one of the strongest foundations of confidence. Explanation. Many people confuse kindness with always pleasing others. But there is a difference between being kind and losing yourself. A kind person can help others while still respecting themselves. A person with self-assertiveness understands, "I can respect you without abandoning myself." For example, someone asks you to do something that goes against your priorities. A person without self-assertiveness may say yes while feeling angry inside. A confident person may say, "I understand your request, but I cannot commit to that right now." The second person is not being rude. They are being honest. Practical application. How can you practice self-assertiveness? The first step, understand your own values. Ask yourself, what matters to me? What do I believe in? What kind of person do I want to become? When you know yourself, it becomes easier to express yourself. The second step, practice saying your thoughts clearly. You do not need complicated words. Simple honesty is powerful. Instead of staying silent and building frustration, communicate. Instead of pretending everything is fine, express your feelings respectfully. The third step, accept that not everyone will agree with you. This is one of the biggest challenges. Many people avoid being themselves because they fear rejection. But trying to make everyone accept you has a hidden problem. You may lose yourself while trying to keep others. Pause. Imagine a person wearing a mask every day. At first, the mask feels comfortable. It protects them from judgment. But after years, they forget what their real face looks like. Self-assertiveness is the courage to remove the mask. To say, this is who I am. These are my values. This is my voice. Story conclusion, Adam started with small steps. He began sharing his opinions. He started setting healthy boundaries. He learned that saying no did not make him a bad person. It made him a person who respected his own time and energy. And something surprising happened. The more honest he became with himself, the more confident he felt around others. Because confidence was no longer based on getting everyone's approval. It was based on knowing his own worth. Slow tone. You do not build confidence by making yourself smaller so others feel comfortable. You build confidence by having the courage to be yourself. Self-assertiveness is not about becoming louder. It is about becoming clearer. It is not about controlling others. It is about respecting yourself. And when you respect yourself, you create a foundation that no outside opinion can destroy. This is the fourth pillar of true self-esteem. Chapter 5. The fifth pillar of self-esteem. The practice of living purposefully, calm tone. A person can have talent. A person can have intelligence. A person can have opportunities. But without direction, all of these things can become wasted potential. Because confidence does not only come from believing you can do something, it also comes from knowing where you are going. This is the power of living purposefully. Pause. The fifth pillar of self-esteem teaches us an important truth. A meaningful life is not created by accident. It is created through conscious choices and clear direction. Living purposefully means having goals. It means knowing what you want to build. It means making daily decisions that move you closer to the person you want to become. Story. Let's return to Adam. After learning awareness, self-acceptance, responsibility, and self-assertiveness, Adam started feeling stronger. But he discovered another problem. He had confidence, but he lacked direction. He asked himself, what am I building? What kind of future do I want? What is the purpose behind my actions? For years, Adam was busy. But being busy was not the same as making progress. He was moving every day, but he was not always moving forward. Emphasis on many people confuse movement with progress. You can run all day and still be running in the wrong direction. Purpose gives your effort a destination. Without purpose, your energy is scattered. With purpose, your energy becomes powerful. Explanation. Living purposefully does not mean you need to have a perfect life plan. It does not mean you need to know every detail of your future. Purpose begins with simple questions. What do I want to improve? What skills do I want to develop? What kind of person do I want to become? What actions today will help my future self? These questions create direction. Example, imagine two people waking up every morning. The first person has no clear goal. They spend their time reacting to whatever happens. Their day controls them. The second person has a purpose. They know what matters. They choose their actions based on their goals. They still face problems. They still have difficult days, but they have a reason to continue. The difference is not that one person has an easier life. The difference is that one person has direction. Practical application. How can you practice living purposefully? The first step, create meaningful goals. Not goals created only to impress others. Goals that connect with who you truly want to become. The second step, break big goals into daily actions. A dream without action remains only a dream. Small actions repeated consistently create transformation. Reading one page, learning one skill, improving one habit. Every small step builds your future. The third step, review your direction regularly. Ask yourself, are my daily actions helping me become the person I want to be? Because sometimes people achieve goals that they never truly wanted. They follow society's expectations instead of their own values. Pause. A person without purpose often looks for confidence through external things. Money, status, approval. But a person with purpose finds confidence through progress. Every step forward becomes proof I am capable of growth. Story conclusion. Adam began changing his daily life. He stopped asking, what can make me look successful? And started asking, what can make me become better? He created goals. He built habits. He focused on progress instead of perfection. And slowly, he noticed something powerful. Confidence was no longer something he searched for. It was something he created through his actions. Slow tone. Your purpose gives your life direction. Your actions give your purpose power. And every day you choose to move toward your goals, you are sending yourself a message. I trust myself. The person who lives without direction often doubts himself. But the person who has a purpose builds confidence through every step. This is the fifth pillar of true self-esteem. Chapter 6. The sixth pillar of self-esteem. The practice of personal integrity, calm tone. There is a final foundation that holds everything together. You can become aware of yourself. You can accept yourself. You can take responsibility. You can express yourself. You can live with purpose. But there is one question that determines whether your confidence will truly last. Do you live according to what you believe is right? This is the power of personal integrity. Pause. Personal integrity means living in alignment with your values. It means your actions match your beliefs. It means you do not create one version of yourself for others and another version when nobody is watching. Because deep confidence is not created by what people think about you. It is created by what you know about yourself. Story. Let's return to Adam one final time. After months of changing his mindset, Adam noticed something important. He was becoming more confident, but he discovered that confidence could disappear when he acted against his own values. There were moments when he made choices that he knew were wrong. Maybe he avoided responsibility. Maybe he ignored his promises. Maybe he acted in a way that did not represent the person he wanted to become. And every time it happened, something inside him became weaker. Not because other people knew, but because he knew. Emphasis. Your relationship with yourself is built through every promise you keep and every promise you break. When you respect your own commitments, you build self-trust. When you constantly betray your own values, you weaken your confidence. Integrity is the bridge between who you want to be and who you actually become. Explanation. Many people think success is only about external achievements. But imagine a person who has money, status, and recognition, yet does not respect their own choices. Can they truly feel confident? Real confidence requires inner agreement. Your mind needs to believe, my actions represent who I am. When your thoughts, words, and actions move in the same direction, you create inner strength. Example. Imagine someone says, I want to become healthier, but every day they make choices that destroy their health. Over time, they lose trust in themselves. The problem is not only the habit. The deeper problem is the message they send themselves. My own words do not matter. Now imagine another person. They make a commitment and take small steps every day. They're not perfect. They make mistakes, but they continue. Slowly, they build evidence that they can trust themselves. And self-trust creates confidence. Practical application. How can you practice personal integrity? The first step, keep your promises to yourself. Start with small commitments. Do not make promises you have no intention of keeping. If you decide to do something, respect that decision. The second step, be honest with yourself. Ask, am I living according to my values? Are my actions matching the person I want to become? The third step, accept responsibility when you make mistakes. Integrity does not mean never failing. It means having the courage to admit when you are wrong and improve. A person with integrity does not hide from mistakes. They learn from them. Pause. Let's imagine Adam looking back at his journey. He remembers the person he used to be, a person controlled by fear, a person searching for approval, a person who doubted his own value. But he realizes something. The confidence he wanted was never something he needed to find. It was something he needed to build, one decision at a time, one action at a time, one promise at a time. Conclusion: the 6 pillars are now complete. Living consciously taught him to see himself. Self-acceptance taught him to respect himself. Self-responsibility taught him to control his choices. Self-assertiveness taught him to express himself. Living purposefully gave him direction. Personal integrity gave him inner strength. Together, these foundations create real self-esteem. Slow tone. Remember this. Confidence is not about convincing the world that you are valuable. Confidence begins when you no longer need the world to prove your value. It begins when you understand yourself, accept yourself, respect yourself, and live according to the person you truly want to become. Because the strongest person is not the one who never doubts. The strongest person is the one who learns how to trust himself. This is the foundation of true self-esteem. Final conclusion. The journey to real self-esteem. After this journey, one important question remains: what will you do with what you have learned? Because knowledge alone does not change a person. Application does. A person can watch hundreds of videos about confidence. They can read dozens of books about success. They can understand every principle. But real transformation begins when those ideas become actions. Pause. Remember Adam. At the beginning of this journey, he was searching for confidence. He believed confident people were simply born different. He thought some people were naturally strong, while others were always destined to doubt themselves. But he discovered the truth. Confidence is built. It is built through awareness. It is built through acceptance. It is built through responsibility. It is built through courage. It is built through the small choices you make every day. Emphasis: the person you become tomorrow is created by the decisions you make today. Every time you choose to understand yourself instead of ignoring yourself, you become stronger. Every time you accept yourself instead of attacking yourself, you become stronger. Every time you take responsibility instead of making excuses, you become stronger. Every time you express your truth instead of hiding, you become stronger. Every time you move toward your purpose, you become stronger. Every time you act with integrity, you become stronger. Pause. Self-esteem is not something that appears overnight. It is a relationship between you and yourself. And like every important relationship, it requires attention, honesty, and commitment. You cannot build a strong relationship with yourself while constantly disrespecting yourself. You cannot create confidence while constantly telling yourself that you are not enough. The first person who needs to believe in you is you. Closing message. So take a moment and ask yourself, am I living consciously? Am I accepting myself? Am I taking responsibility for my life? Am I respecting my own voice? Am I moving toward a meaningful purpose? Am I living according to my values? Your answers will show you where your next step should begin. Slow tone. Remember, you do not need to become a completely different person to become confident. You need to discover the strength that already exists inside you and develop it every day. The journey of confidence is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming more honest, more aware, and more connected with yourself. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found value in this video, continue exploring more powerful ideas from books that can help you build a stronger mindset and a better life. Your future is created by what you choose to do today. Start with one decision. Start with yourself.